Everybody down here, please. All the way down on the end this way. Straight ahead.
Neil, just come out in front. Neil, just come out in front.
Nice and tight. Nice and tight.
Thank you.
Straight ahead. I don't like this anymore. That's it.
Long time, Tyson. Long time no see. How you doing?
He's a philanthropist. He's one of the first designers to support the LGBTQ trans community. He just was always ahead of his prime, and I used to see Tommy Hilfiger all the time, and he was like, "What are you doing over there with Ralph? You should come over with us. We're more hip." And I was like, "I don't think so. I think you're copying everything that he's doing, but you try to do it a different way that it doesn't come off as good as he does." But I mean, he's the epitome of the American designer, like for everything from cars to, he's inspired by cars, motorcycles, and just his clothes are timeless. Whenever I would go into some of the design studios for them to try the stuff on me, it was like, how did you know this is the next it? He always knew he was ahead of the hit, before it even hit. And then when it did hit, everybody was like, oh, wow. But me being the face of the brand at the time, I got to see a lot of the stuff before it hit the street. So I was able to keep some of it and go home with it. So if I was walking through Harlem one day and I had on a shirt that hadn't been out yet, but this is before Instagram, thank God, people would be like, yo, where can I get that one? I'd be like, well, it's a sample, it's not coming out just yet. So I would have it 6 months before it came out. So it was really a good era, and he just knew what we wanted, He just knew what we wanted.
Well, last
I mean, look, if you're in the fashion world, you probably know a lot of this. 99% of the people in this country don't know anything about fashion. They don't know anything about Ralph, except maybe he started with ties. They don't know, as I did not, that he was such a pioneer. He was an absolute, and Calvin Klein and Donna Karan and every other designer will say it. He was the first one that had the vision of branding. He was the first one to expand beyond fashion into lifestyle. He was the first one to create diversity on the runway and in ads. Here's my buddy. She's the lady.
I was about to stop, and I'm like,
She's the lady of the night. Yeah. And look at us, a study in black and white.
I know you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I got your text a while ago.
now I feel dumb because I was about to block you out of it. I didn't know who it was.
She earns an Emmy for every single one of her documentaries. She is phenomenal.
Well, what makes her so special?
She's talent. She's the talent behind the person she's representing. Filming, right?
Well,
Yes,
I mean,
you are.
I don't really. What I try to do in every film is I try to connect the life and the person to the work. And if I've done that well, you understand both better, and you're more interested, and you get it. You get the context and why they're interesting enough to make a film about it.
Hillary, can I get eye contact? Let's see the front. Carly, see that?
Look over there, you go. Hey, Carly. Carly, let's see your car.
Straight ahead. Here we go,
Step
straight
your
ahead.
car back a little bit. There you go.
Right in front of you, straight ahead. Here we go. Right in front.
Bring it down. Let's bring it down to this end.
To the where we left. Everyone step to your left. Straight ahead.
Georgia, straight ahead.
Right, straight ahead. Look right here. In front of you, straight ahead.
See the front of your outfit?
Over your shoulder. There you can do it. Look straight ahead while you do it. Look this way while you do it. Nope, right there. You're almost there.
know him as my father. And, you know, as a kid, everybody would always ask me, what's your dad like? What's he like? In this film, you really capture a lot of who he is. He is a family man, first and foremost. And so much of his personal life is translated into the work that he creates. And you see how something he does with his family is turned into the clothes that millions of people buy all around the world. So in many ways, everything we wear and live with is so personal to me, but I see it on people around the world, and I feel so lucky.
And on your right, everyone look to your right. Right here.
You know, I think that he's a very true to himself man and a designer who, you know, has set a standard for people to, you know, to feel good about living the American dream and, you know, really build something that they love for themselves, not just to do it to have a name out there. I think he's very authentic.
Got this model. Never remember. Make a small step forward right there.
And right there.
Step over.
Back straight, back straight.
Up, perfect.